Hey everybody, welcome to ChinFat. This is kind of a special episode where I'm showing you how to use a couple of the AI features and how I've been using them inside of Premiere Pro to facilitate doing things like podcasts. Well, in this instance, I'm doing tutorials. If you're doing tutorials for YouTube, or if you're doing just like explanation videos, informational videos, or whatever you're doing when you're either just talking to your computer or you're recording a screen like I'm doing right here, there are some things that have gotten so much easier with Premiere and saves and probably cuts my time in about half when it comes to editing my videos. So here is a recorded video that I've done. It's about 12 minutes worth of recording. It actually will be cut down to about 6 minutes when I'm finished, because there's a lot of pauses, there's a lot of and ahhing and stopping and thinking and reprocessing while I'm doing the recording. So I'm going to create a timeline with this and drop it in my timeline. And I'm going to show you my entire workflow here. I'll kind of step through it pretty quickly, but I am going to be a little bit thorough on this, on how I do this. So I have recorded this. I use OBS, Open Broadcast Studio. It's free to do my screen recordings. Records both voice and the screen at the same time, and records a whole bunch of different options. If you have cameras, if you have other things, you can include them in the stream in OBS. It's quite a free software. So now that I'm in my timeline, I like to hit Shift plus and increase my track height. That takes it to a standard track height. And once again, I'm inside of I'm working, you see that little blue outline right there, I'm working within my timeline. A couple other things just to make this a little bit more visible here. I'm going to click inside my project window, and I'm going to hit the top of the keyboard, hit plus. If you hit plus and minus in this window, it's going to increase the size of your icons. Minus will shrink it down. I kind of like to get them kind of big so I can kind of see the thumbnails, see the footage and the timelines that I'm working in. I can change my timeline here. I can hit return and rename this, call this final edit, or call it by an episode number or whatever I want to call it. But now I've got the clip down inside here, and I'm going to increase my track height even more because I like to look at the waveforms while I'm editing, so it makes things quicker. I'm going to move over this area, this gray area. I'm going to hold down Option. That's on a Mac, and on the PC it would be Alt. And I'm going to use my mouse scroll. I use a 3-button mouse with the middle scroll, and I'm going to scroll up, and it will increase the track height of my audio. If you want to do the video as well, you just hover over this and do the same thing, Option, and scroll up. Scrolling down shrinks it, scrolling up makes it larger. If you want to fit this all within your area right here, you can do a couple things here. When you're in your timeline, right now I'm in my project window. I've got my blue outline around the timeline window. I'm going to hit Shift 3 to jump to my timeline. I'm going to hit plus, 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 and then that zooms up, minus, 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 zooms out. And you want to squeeze this whole thing within the viewable space here, you hit this backward slash above the return key, or the large enter key if you're on Windows. So that fits everything within your window right here. So one of the AI features here, jumping right in, is going to be the transcribe feature. I'm going to go up to Window here, and I'm going to go down, and I'm going to tell it to show my text window. I click on the text window, and then it brings up this window right here. And by the way, right now I'm under the assembly layout. Under workspaces, I'm under the assembly layout. The assembly layout will give you a little bit more project space because it shares the space between your program monitor and your source monitor. Your source monitor is what views individual clips. If you double click on a clip, you can view that individual clip within this source monitor, which is just a clip player essentially. The program monitor, if you click down inside the timeline, it will start showing you where your playhead is in that timeline. So if I skim back and forth in here, you'll see the monitor show the frame wherever my playhead is existing on the timeline. I'm going to hit home, go to the beginning, but I'm going to go into my text window that I just opened up here, and I'm going to select my clip right there, and I'm going to go up to transcribe. And this is where the AI takes over. The AI will read this language, basically, will read all the language, and it does a really nice, accurate job of understanding everything that I'm saying here. So I'm going to transcribe. This will take a moment. And I'm amazed at the speed at which it does the transcription as well. For about 12 minutes of audio, this will take about a minute to do the full transcription for it. There we go. Once this is finished, it has the entire transcription and time-coded transcription of everything that I say in this whole tutorial. And one thing that you can do here is if you find sentences that are repeats, I kind of like just playing through and editing after I've done a couple things, which I'll show. You can basically highlight, click and drag across a certain portion of text, and if you want to eliminate that sentence right there, all you have to do is hit delete. And it deletes it, and down here you can see it's done the edit. It's pulled that sentence out, and it's closed, and I've got an edit there now. I'm going to undo that because I don't want to do that quite yet. And this also works with cut, copying, pasting. You can rearrange things. You can, if you're doing an interview with somebody, if you're shooting an interview on camera, and you want to have, and maybe in their closing thoughts, they say something that you want at the beginning, watch this. I'm just going to go and grab this whole paragraph right here, this whole section, and I'm going to do Command X or it would be Control X on a PC, Command X on a Mac, and you can see that it's highlighted that range right there. as an in and out point, and I hit Command X and it will cut it. And now I can paste that wherever I want to. And so now that I've done Command X, it is waiting for me to paste this onto my timeline somewhere. So I can go to my timeline, I can hit home and go to the beginning, and I can do Command Shift V. Command Shift V will ripple paste and shove that in right there. And I put it at the beginning of my timeline. I'm going to undo that, Command Z. And you can actually go in between texts here. I can click on this right there, and I can hit Command V right there, and it will paste that text inside that little section right there. So you can even find a place within the text. Here, you can either paste it on your timeline, or you can go within the text and paste it in between text just by simply clicking where you want it to be exactly. Put your cursor right there. You see a little blinking cursor right there, and it will paste that text in there, and therefore it will text the entire video clip in that portion as well. I just did it again, like right there. So I'm going to do Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, undo everything, and I'm back to where I was before. So this is what I do with tutorials. Since everything is pretty much in the correct order that I recorded here, what I want to do is I want to eliminate a couple different things. First of all, I have some times where I kind of stop and I'm thinking and I'm looking stuff up, maybe online or looking through my notes, and we have a long stretch here where we have no audio. The AI feature detects those portions there. That is represented by having these little ellipses right here. If you hover over these, this tells me I have 4.7 seconds of a pause there. Here's 10 seconds. Here's 4 seconds. Which is really nice, showing you all those pauses that you have on your timeline. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go up to this little filter icon right here. I'm going to click on filter. I'm going to tell this to find the pauses. Pauses is going to find all those. It'll highlight all those pauses throughout your timeline. And if you want to get rid of all those, you can basically go to delete here. And then I can tell it to delete all. We're going to extract it rather than lift it. If you lift it, it will cut them out and it'll leave gaps in between all the videos, which you might want to do in some instances. But in this instance, I just wanted to extract it, which means it's going to take out the video and fill in the gaps. I'm going to hit delete all, and look what's happened in my timeline in a second here. All those pauses that I've taken down took this from almost like a 13-minute video down to an 8-minute and 33-second video. Unfortunately, it does not recognize repetition. If you say a sentence and then you correct yourself and say the sentence again, it doesn't recognize those. You're going to have to do those manually for now, which is not a problem because already I've saved a ton of time by doing this. I'm going to go back up into my text window, and there's another cool feature this has here. I'm going to tell it to filter, and we're going to filter by filler words. Filler words are ums and ahs, and I do a lot of ums and ahs, which I hate, and I try to stop, but this is going to help me here. I'm going to hit filler words. It highlights all these sections with in these brackets here as filtered. Those are ums and ahs, where I pause and go and it finds all those things. So with this, I didn't have a ton. I have 13 results, and right now it's highlighting 1 of 13. So, but I can simply take those out just by once again hitting delete, have extract check marked, and hit delete all, and it takes those out. And with those out, it took it down by about like 5 seconds there. Okay, the next step to my process here is basically just editing this down. I'm going to go to my timeline here. I'm going to zoom up, plus, so I can see my waveforms here. And now I'm just going to start playing through this and listening to the audio and watching the video and making sure there aren't any little glitches. So let's play through this a little bit. Hey everybody, welcome to ChinFat. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you guys how the workspaces or layouts function inside of Premiere Pro. See, and here's a little pause I found, and this is what I'll do. As I play through this, I'll just listen to it. Sometimes, for the most part, it does a really good job on the transitioning between clips here. But like here's a little spot where there's a little bit of a hesitation. Or layouts. And then this hesitation. Function inside. This layout, pause, function. So it didn't quite catch that one here. Or layouts. So I'm going to play through this, and I'm going to get right to the point where I want to cut this. I'm going to press my space bar to play. Layouts. Stop. And now I can arrow backwards, hit my arrow tool to the left, and go through frame by frame and listen to where my sound kind of comes to a stop. Right there. So I want to get this kind of tight so it doesn't sound like I did a big pause there. So I'm going to hit Command K. Command K will cut right where your playhead is and slice it right down on the video there and on the audio. Now I'm going to press play. Function. Get right to where I see my next word here. I'm going to arrow backwards and get to the beginning of that word. So rather than cut this and select this, I could cut this, select this video, and delete it here. All I have to do is hit Q. Q cleans from your playhead to the left and does a ripple delete. So it's going to clean all this out right here and pull everything over to the left. So I hit Q, and it deletes that. And now I filled the gap, and let's listen to that. Workspaces or layouts function inside of Premiere Pro. And there's still a little pause there, but that's much better. That feels much tighter to me. At the top here, you have your window drop down, and you can go into workspaces and access them here. And there's also this spot right up here in the top right-hand corner There's also this spot up in the. So now as I play through it, I'm just going to continue editing and I just play through the whole thing and just double check. I'm not going to totally trust in AI. I'm going to do some editing myself here. So I'm going to listen to this. I'm going to start playing through here. Down, and you can go into workspaces and access them here. And there's also this spot right up here in the top right hand corner. There's also this spot up in the top right. So that's a spot that I'm talking about where I repeat myself. And let's see how many times I repeat myself. I said there's a spot up in the top right hand corner. And there's also this spot right up here in the top right hand corner. That's once. Also this spot up in the top right hand corner. That's twice. There's also this spot up in here. There's also this. There's 3, 4, 5 times. There's also this little spot up in the top right hand corner. Just okay, so that was the good one right there. So that's like 5 times that I basically said that. And like I said, the AI does not catch these repetitions. And there's also this. So I'm going to select this whole clip right here because that I'm just going to get rid of completely. So because I repeat myself over and over again. I'm going to select this, and a quick way of selecting that is by hitting the letter D on your D as in dog to select your clip. Whatever the playhead is touching, the letter D will select that. And now I can hit delete, but that will leave a gap. I'm going to undo that, Command Z to undo. I'm going to hit D to select. So now I'm going to hit Shift and hit the small delete on my keyboard, and that is going to do what's called a ripple delete. So rather than leave a gap like this, I'm going to hit D, Shift, delete, and it deletes that and it fills the gap. So let's listen to that, see if I've gotten rid of a couple of them here. Places and access them here, up in the top right-hand corner. There's also this spot up in here. There's also this. So that's going to go away right there. Shift, delete. There's also this little. And I repeat myself again. D, Shift, delete. There's also this little spot up in the right. And here's one of those instances where it cut and did a pretty good job cutting when I was like mid-sentence. It took out a pause there and did that in the middle of my sentence there. There's also this little spot up in the right. So let's get under the right, Command K, play. Up in the top right hand. So up, I can get rid of this right here because that's a repeat. That says up in the right, up in the top right. So I say that twice. I'm almost there. Shift, delete. Up in the top. Now let's listen to that whole thing there. There's also this little spot up in the top right hand corner just above your program monitor. You can click on this and this will also access the same menu. Okay, that sounds good there. I like that. So, but this is a little teeny glitchy as it goes through. I can hear that edit though. If you listen closely, you can hear that edit. This little spot up in the top right hand. So one way to fix that is I'm going to arrow up right there. I'm going to use arrows up and down to jump to different edits. Your arrow up, if you go click, 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 it will jump to the edits to the left. If you hit arrow down, it will jump to the edits to the right. So arrow down, arrow down, arrow down. I think this was the one I was going to edit. I was going to fix right here. This little spot up in the top right. So right there. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to arrow up and land on that edit there. And I'm going to hold down Command, Shift, and D. Command, Shift, D, or Control, Shift, D on a PC will add a crossfade between the two videos. This is way too long. You just need this to be like a few frames long. So you actually just double click on this and I can either slide this and grab the edge and slide it, or I can double click and I can just say, shrink this down to a 4 frame. I'm just going to type in 4 on my numpad, hit return, and it takes it to a 4 frame crossfade. Let's listen to that and see what it sounds like. Little spot up in the top right hand. That makes it a little smoother. Let's make it a 6 frame crossfade. Listen to it again. Little spot up in the top right hand. And that sounds better. And then another thing you can do, if that's not working out, you can grab this, you can make it shorter, you can make it a 2 frame crossfade, a 3 frame crossfade, whatever works the best. Because if you make it too long, eventually you'll start hearing, it'll start bleeding into other audio from previous clips. So listen to this. There's also this little spot up in the top right hand corner. Just see, like right there, I heard double audio kind of jumping over itself. So I'm going to undo, get that back to here. You can also grab this and slide it back and forth and have the crossfade start like right here on this edit and start crossfading into that one, or you can drag it the other way and have it start beforehand on this clip's handles over here, on the clips to the right handle. So if it's like that, it's using the handles from the left-hand clip. If you do this, it's using the handle from the right-hand clip. So let's listen to both of those. Let's see what sounds the best. This little spot up in the top right. See, and that kind of got rid of the word up a little bit more. So I'm going to go this way. Let's try this way. This little spot up in the top right. And that sounds a little jumpy. So I think it sounded best like right there in the middle. And let's listen to that. This little spot up in the top right-hand corner. See, now that sounds perfect. That sounds like there was nothing cut out of it at all. So I'm going to play through the entire video. I'm going to keep doing this. Just make sure that it didn't eliminate something that I needed. Sometimes if it eliminates something that you needed, what you can do, like let's say this one right here, you want to extend this and grab some more of the handles off this clip that it deleted something important, or you wanted an intentional pause right there. You can do what's called a ripple edit. I'm going to move my mouse over this. These are my trim tools right here. This red arrow, these are my trim tools. But if I hold down the command key or the control key on a PC, it has my little ripple tool right here. I'm going to grab this clip to the left. I'm going to drag it out and extend this clip and drop. And now I have all that pause right there before it cuts this. So I extended the handle on this. So say I want a slight pause on this. It will also access the same menu. Pause, stop. And I want to just, let's see, it cut it right to the end of my letter there. But let's say I want a little bit of a pause there before, because maybe I'm changing subjects here. So now I did that ripple delete. I extended this and I've got it a little beyond where I need it. So I want it to start the new one. Let's paste this out here. I'm going to play into it. Click on this and this will also access the same menu. Pause, and right there I want it to start. So I paused. Right there is where I want this voiceover to start. So now all I have to do, I use Q to eliminate stuff to the left. I'm going to use W to eliminate stuff to the right. So W will do a ripple edit to the right. They're right next to each other. Q is on the left-hand side and the W is on the right-hand side on your keyboard. So Q will eliminate stuff to the left. W will eliminate stuff to the right. And I'm going to keep doing this until I get all the way through my video using these techniques to make sure that everything is like perfect and ready to go. All right, so one of the final touches that I'm going to be doing here is I want this audio. You can probably tell by when I'm playing this is not very good audio. It's audible, it's okay, but I literally use the microphone inside of my laptop to record this, and I'm sitting about like 2 feet away from my laptop, so it's not the best audio. Usually, if you want really good audio, you need a microphone like right up next to your mouth to get that really good, clean audio. But with Adobe's new AI feature, the enhanced speech feature, which I showed in the last episode, I'm going to go up to Window and I'm going to add my Essential Sound panel right here. So hit Essential Sound. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, squeeze this over a little bit, grab the edge of this, just make this and resize my windows a little bit. There we go. I like that. I like that look right there. Let's see a little bit more of my VU meter since I'm going to be looking at audio here. So one thing when I play this, first of all, my audio is not very clean, but another thing that I notice is when I play my audio. This one might be a little bit quicker because you can just click on it, it pops up, and when you click on it, my audio is constantly hitting around -18 to -15. Normalized audio for dialogue is right around -12. So what happens at 0 is this is where you peak or distort, your audio peaks or distorts. You never want to hit 0, but as you move down, you have basically a 12 decibel dynamic range where people can speak and then they can yell louder. They have 12 decibels before it peaks or clips. But most audio is normalized in a stereo environment, which means you have 2 speakers. You have your left and your right hand speaker, which is most environments that we're working with in editing, unless you're doing surround sound mixing or something like that, in which case you have about a 20 decibel dynamic range rather than a 12. You increase the dynamic range by 20 decibels. That's the way surround sound works. But anyway, with the -12, you want to go for around -12. You want it kind of bouncing up and down in between, maybe the very lowest 15, at the very highest maybe -9, but bouncing in the middle at -12. One thing that's going to help that is the enhanced speech feature here. I've got my essential panels up here. I'm going to click on my timeline. I'm going to hit Command A, or it would be Control A on a PC to select everything. And I'm going to tag all this as dialogue. I'm going to do it to everything all at once. This has been my workflow, and it's worked really, really well. With all that selected, I'm going to go up and hit Enhance. And this will start moving. It'll start processing. And immediately it stops. And if I come down here on my timeline and kind of zoom in, you'll see these in queue, these ones it's not working on yet, but you'll see other ones where you see it actually processing. See, like right here, you see it processing. And then it will finish, and then it will move on to the next one, and it will keep doing these. And you'll see the waveforms kind of change. You'll see them kind of bump up a little bit louder. It tries to normalize them a little bit. Sometimes it doesn't get it all the way up to -12. So we're going to do something else once it's finished. We're going to let this enhance all the speech, then we're going to come back and listen to what it's done. Okay, that just barely finished. So now I'm going to go down and look at my audio here. I can deselect all my audio. Let's go to the very beginning and zoom up to this plus to zoom up. And now let's listen to what it's done in my audio here. I'm going to press play. Hey everybody, welcome to Chin Fat. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you guys. And that sounds a lot better there. So you can go up to the slider. If it sounds like it's being too aggressive and making it too clean, you can go up and change your slider right here. I'm going to go all the way. I'm going to go to 10. It maxes out at 10. Let's go down to the bottom here. I'm going to hit home. Unless you're Spinal Tap, then yours might go to 11, but this one just goes to 10. Here we go. I'm going to press play. Hey everybody, welcome to Chin Fat. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you guys how the workspace, and that sounds really good. That sounds really super clean. So it depends on how clean you want it. I'm going to take it. Let's take it down to 5 and see the difference here. So let's hit 5, halfway, hit home, go to the beginning, and press play. Hey everybody, welcome to Chin Fat. And right there, I can hit a little bit of echo. There's a little bit of reverb from my microphone. Let's do this completely without. Let's go extreme here. But there I can hear some echo being brought back into there because I've got a little bit of reverb because of the room that I'm in. But it's still very clean audio. but it's not as aggressive as if I do this. If I take that up to 10, hey everybody, welcome to Chin Fat. In this episode, and listen to this. I'll uncheck this and check mark it as I'm playing through this. Listen to the difference here. So here we go. Hey everybody, welcome to Chin Fat. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you guys how the workspaces or layouts. See, that sounds amazing. So, and overall, this feature has been in beta for a while. It does a really, really good job of cleaning up your audio. But let's look at one more thing here. As I play through this, hey everybody, welcome to Chin Fat. My audio is not quite, it's barely touching -12, and I want kind of the average to be between like -15 and -19 and have 12 kind of be the center kind of pivot point there. So let's do this. I'm going to hit Command A to select everything, and then I'm going to hit G for gain, and that's about like maybe like 3 decibels. I want it up a little about that midpoint and be kind of up around -12. So I'm going to try 3 decibels. So I hit G for gain. It brings open this audio gain window. The top here shows you how much you've already gained it, and this has not been gained yet. So I'm going to hit 3 and hit enter, and it will gain it 3 decibels higher. I'm going to hit home. Listen to this. Hey everybody, welcome to Chin Fat. In this episode, that's right about where I like my audio right there. It's a good prominent voice. It's a mix of it's normalized at the proper level, a little bit above -12, gives me a nice kind of prominent voice there. So if you need to gain even more than that, if it didn't quite reach it, you could hit G for gain again. Right now, you notice it's already brought it up by 3 decibels. And if I hit 2, notice it'll take it by 5 decibels. If I hit OK, that takes it up, and that's probably going to be a little too hot. I'm going to be showing you guys how the works. Yeah, now that's around -9, -6. So that's a couple decibels higher than we want our normalized audio to rest at there. So I'm just going to hit undo. You can see my waveforms. I've dropped back down by a couple decibels. And let's listen to that one more time. Hey everybody, welcome to Chin Fat. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you guys how the workspaces or layouts function inside of Premiere Pro. Okay, so that sounds really good to me. So after that, like I said, I've gone through the whole thing. I've edited it down, and now if I have like a little intro I need, I can tack an intro onto there. I hit home, go to the beginning. I can do a Command D to fade in. There's my fade in. I don't need an audio fade in because it's really clean audio, and you don't hear the noise fade in. It just starts talking. Hey everybody, welcome to Chin Fat. In this episode, and that's a 2 second. I want a 1 second cross dissolve there. So now we got the fade in. Hey everybody, welcome to Chin Fat. In this episode, and then if we go to the end, say I want a fade out at the end, make sure there's nothing selected on your timeline. You can hit Command Shift A will deselect everything on your timeline, or Control Shift A on a PC. And now I hit Command D for that. Double click on that. I must have my default transition. I have my default transition set at 2 seconds under the preferences. So I'm going to go back to 1 second there, hit OK. I'll have to go in and change that. So now at the end of my tutorial here, thanks for watching Chin Fat. And then it fades out. There you go. Now I can put my intro and outro on those things, and I've got it all cleaned up. It's very, very clean. The audio levels are all set, and the AI feature with the text helped transcribe and clean out all the pauses and all the ums and ahs. And then the AI feature with the enhanced speech has helped bring level my audios properly, and also clean up my audio so it sounds like I've got a nice professional microphone that I'm recording in rather than my laptop microphone. Keep in mind that if you have just like a ton of noise, like a ton of fan noise and a ton of like a door slamming and things like that, it's going to have it'll have trouble really cleaning up that audio. If you have somebody standing next to the street and there's a ton of traffic, it does okay, but it's going to start doing some weird glitchy things. The worse your audio is, the better. The worse your audio is, it won't do as good a job as cleaning up. So make sure, if you're going to do it this method and use your internal mic, don't get mad at me for using your internal mic and have it not working. Test it first. Record it with your internal mic and see how much you can get away with, and see if you have to do a huge mic setup or not. Even if you're using like a microphone, this still helps clean up audio and helps to kind of auto level it to get it to that normal level. So, but yeah, you can use this feature for podcasts, you can use it for tutorials, you can use it for informational videos, you can use it for interviews, you can use it for a whole bunch of different uses. Anyway, well, thanks for watching. That's kind of my workflow on recording and doing instructional and tutorial videos on YouTube. And if you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comments. And thanks for watching Chin Fat.